Hey, what's up, Speakerphiles? Wellington here, and today we are taking a close look at the Soundcore Flare 2, and we will also be comparing it to another LED speaker, the JBL Pulse 4. Sit tight, let's get into it. The unboxing experience of the Flare 2 is actually pretty good. Reminds me a bit of how JBL packages their speakers, but what do I know? In the box we find the USB-C cord and user manual, and lastly the speaker itself. I wouldn't say it looks better than the Pulse 4 or the Pulse 3 for that matter, but it does look really good in its own way. It also does not look as fragile as the Pulse 4 here or the Pulse 3, so kudos to the design. It has two light rings, one on the top and one on the bottom, which actually look pretty good, and also it's covered in a fabric body which feels good in the hand. At the front of the speaker is the Soundcore logo, and behind there is where you'll find your Bluetooth connection button and the bass up button for going into bass mode, but also behind the flap is your USB-C charging port. And then going to the top here is where you'll find your media control button, as well as your power on and off and the light control button. The Flare 2 is a 360 speaker, as you could tell, and it's running 2 drivers and 2 PRs with a total power output of 20 watts. It's IPX7 rated, which makes it completely waterproof, and it's also submersible into water, and it's rated for up to 12 hours of playtime, depending on how you use it. Like a few speakers that have been coming out lately, it's also missing an audio input, which sucks because it really sucks at audio video latency. It's really bad. If you have left any comments, if you have liked any of my videos, you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, thank you very much for following me. Thank you very much for supporting me in all those ways. I really honestly do appreciate you. Look, I understand that the future is wireless, but let's not just rush there before fixing the issues that we have before we can get there, okay? At least if you're going to get rid of an audio jack, how about, since you have USB-C right here, how about you allow me to connect a USB-C from my phone into here and get music from my phone into here. That way, instead of using Bluetooth, if I'm trying to watch a video and I can't really put up with that much latency that this thing has. How about you enable that instead of just getting rid of an audio input, not enabling USB-C audio transfer, because I don't think it's heard. Maybe it is, I guess I don't know, but there are earbuds out there that work using USB-C. Like I connect a USB-C in here and the earbuds will play audio through there. So it's capable of doing that. So if you're going to get rid of an audio jack and not fixing the latency issue between watching video and audio, I feel like they should at least allow us to play music using USB-C. Anyways, I feel like that's too early into this video to be ranting, but this does not only go to Soundcore. It goes to all these speaker companies that are trying to get rid of audio input. This is the same thing with the JBL here. It's not just Soundcore. You still cannot play audio through here, but also there's some sort of latency between when you're watching video, between audio and video synchronization. Not good. So all companies I'm talking about, not just Soundcore. Just my thoughts. Anyways, like I mentioned before, the Soundcore Flare 2 has a bass button right here. And this is basically what it sounds like. It has a bass up mode and the regular mode. So before we go any further, let's compare the two modes and see what the difference is. As usual, I'm going to be using a high quality binaural microphone. So for the best sound experience, please use headphones. With that said, here's a sample.
my neck, say where the money at. In the back, counting stacks, new bands I'm buying that. All I see is green, money all around me. Body on the throne, yeah, your girl be the queen bee.
Wait, you want some more?
And there you have it. As the name suggests, best up mode is basically lifting the lower end of the frequency curve and, bumping it up a little bit and not touching anything else really. And this is only apparent when you're at lower volumes, because when you go to maximum volume, the difference between bass mode and regular mode is really small, and that's because they really do cut down bass quite a bit at maximum volume. Okay, so you've just heard a little bit of how the Soundcore Flare 2 sounds like, but right now let's get a more detailed sound experience with the Flare 2, as well as comparing it to the JBL Pulse 4. The Pulse 4 is also a 360 speaker, as you can probably tell, but its driver fires up, while as the Flare 2 has two drivers firing sideways, like I showed you right here. The Flare 2 will be playing in bass mode, and the Pulse 4 only has one sound mode, so it'll be playing in its default sound. Also, I made a full detailed review of the Pulse 4 right here, so if you're interested in knowing more about it, I will put the links to it in the description down there to go check it out. I'll also have the links to these speakers in the description section down there, so you can still go check them out, see what prices they are right now. Feel free to do that. It helps out the channel. Like I said, again, I will be using a high quality binaural microphone, so for the best experience, please use headphones. With that said, let's hear the speakers speak.
Trail, stay with 100 mil, big house in the hills, ice cubes on my neck, say where the money at. In the back, counting stacks, new bands I'm buying that. All I see is green, money all around me. Body on the throne, yeah, your girl be the queen bee. Self-made bitch, yeah, I buy my own shit.
Can we go somewhere new, some special place I've never been? I'd like to do something crazy. We should try to run away. It's been so long since I've been myself. It's been so long since I've been myself.
Come together now, yeah. Everybody. Every voice. Oh, gotta feel the pain. Come on, open the place.
Okay, so the results were a little surprising to me, most especially when it comes to loudness. Honestly, looking at the two and how heavy this thing is, I thought this is going to be a lot louder than the Flare 2 right here, but they are about the same when it comes to loudness. The bass performance of the Flare 2 is actually pretty good. Very, very comparable to that of the Pulse 4, and this is very apparent at lower volumes, but when you go all the way up to maximum volume, probably somewhere between 80 and above, 80% volume and above, the Flare 2 starts to lose quite a bit of bass, even if it's in the bass up mode. But anything lower than that, I feel like it's very comparable to the Pulse 4's bass performance. So I think like overall, the bass performance of the Pulse 4 is better because it retains its bass all the way up to maximum volume, whereas this loses quite a bit, the Flare 2 right here. But I think it does a pretty good job considering the size difference between the two speakers. The mids are about the same between the two speakers, all the vocals come out pretty well pronounced, but the highs out of the Flare 2 are more appealing to me than those coming out of the JBL Pulse 4. And this also at lower volumes makes me appreciate the sound of the Flare 2 more than I do that of the JBL Pulse 4. Yes, the Pulse 4 looks more beautiful. In my opinion, I think it's the best nice looking speaker out there, followed by the JBL Pulse 3. Like, they do a good job about the way these things look like. But I think at lower volumes, the Flare 2 here is sounding a little bit better than the JBL Pulse 4, at least to the taste that I'm trying to go for. Enough bass coming out of there, and also the highs are really good. The only thing that I wanted to mention though, because the drivers are facing sideways, you're not really getting a true 360 speaker performance, but it's not bad. Overall, I think the Flare 2 is a nice sounding speaker, and it's very pocket friendly, and especially if you're comparing it to the JBL Pulse 4. It's very pocket friendly, and for the sound that you get with it, I think it's worth it. The only person I would recommend not to spend any money on this is if you plan on watching Netflix or a bunch of videos using this thing, because it really sucks. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Go check out my merch store. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're new here, please subscribe and join this awesome community. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I put out new videos. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, leave it a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. I'd like to see you guys. Leave me some comments down there, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.